Hello everyone, and welcome to this IntraTips video series, where intrapreneurs and the People's Lab for Good team share their experience and good practices to help you facilitate the integration of social and environmental goals into your business projects. How can you quickly grab someone's attention, arouse emotion, and bring out the fact that your idea is based on a positive impact approach? That is the whole point of storytelling. Here are some good practices to become a storyteller without telling stories. Have you noticed how touching are some speeches? How we remember them easily, find them powerful, when others are forgotten as soon as they're heard? Of course, there's the speaker's quality, the presentation or visual aids design, the scenario. But what matters most is the message and how it is brought up. It's understanding why you're doing what you're doing, what brought you to this approach, your ability to respond to a real problem linked to the ecological and social transition, and how your idea relates to an experience and can create empathy. It's turning an explanation into a story. Here are some ingredients to get there and learn to tell about your project and yourself. First step, be factual. To properly relate the story of your project, you must first be clear about your main elements. This will help you build the factual backbone of what you want to tell about your idea and its origin. This will be your work basis, to remember the key pieces of information to relay during each intervention. The goal is for you to be able to tell your story in any form, in one sentence, in 10, in 3 minutes, or in half an hour. To build this basis, my advice is to get inspiration from the news dispatch format. Journalists must convey every important piece of information on their subject in one title and letter. To achieve this, they use the 5 W's method. You must be able to answer these 5 questions to have a complete description of your idea. What? Tell in one sentence what your project is about. Who? Are you talking about yourself, a persona, clients? Where? Where do you want to deploy your service or solution? When? When do you want to deploy your service or solution? Or when did you get this idea? And why? What problem are you tackling? What are you resolving? What brought you to this idea? Now that you have answered these questions, you can go to the second step, arouse emotion. It means stepping out of purely factual information and finding elements to link it to you or your beneficiary's experience, or to a situation, to create a bond between you and your interlocutor. When you have decided what elements to share, here are some pieces of advice on how to tell them. First, to be remembered, a good story must be simple. Don't be exhaustive. Your mission is to convey only one message at a time. It must also be surprising. Play with the mechanisms you are comfortable with. Add humor, irony. Don't be predictable when you tell your story. Third ingredient, a touching story is a tangible story. Have things to show. Remember that your idea is based on a real need and be anchored. Most of all, stay believable. Don't betray your interlocutors. Assume that when you pitch, there is an unspoken contract between you and your audience. If you want them to follow you, you must be sincere. Finally, a story that meets its target is a touching story. The people you are talking to must see themselves and want to join in your story. They must feel like creating it with you. No good feelings or miserabilism, to arouse emotion and create empathy. There, you have the ingredients of the tone, position, and key elements to remember. You can now build the narrative that will accompany the explanation of your idea. If you dissect the structure of most stories, whether it be tales, kid or grown-up movies, or novels, you'll notice that they almost always rely on the same basis. It's what we call the narrative outline. This outline uses the mechanisms of our brains, what we hold our attention, make us shiver, make us understand all elements without ever losing us. This is what I suggest you take up, in a lighter way, when you tell the story of your project. A classic narrative outline has 5 steps. 1. Exposition. Corresponds to the beginning stage of a story that introduces readers to the main characters, reveals their goals, and sets the plot tone before the action begins. 2. Disruptive elements or conflict. Tackles the initial situation and starts the action. 3. Rising action. Is the most important part of the plot, made of a succession of events. 4. Falling action. Marks the end of the action. This is the last event that ends the plot by resolving the problem that arose from the conflict. 5. Resolution. Marks the situation of the characters at the end of the plot. You won't have to be this exhaustive though. To carry your message across, you can rely on the following structure: the hero, the problem, the meeting, the resolution. And there you have it, all necessary elements to tell a good story. But emotion is not bound to a defined structure. To know what really works in your speech, what will really help you convince about your project, there's only one thing to do: test it. So, to your pens and to your audiences.